rolling.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 76. Today's guest is Tomer Alroy, so stay tuned. Support for the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast is brought to you by MANSCAPED, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. I like that, Bo.
Yes, they are jewels.
The MANSCAPED Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust MANSCAPED with this exclusive offer. This is just for our listeners, guys. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code JJD at manscaped.com. Now, remember we got that email about how big we are in Denmark? They can get Manscaped delivered for free and get 20% off with code JJD.
Where's Denmark in my pants? Is that? Because there I'm big. I'm definitely
so
big
4 million men worldwide. I think that's, if my math is correct, Bo, that's about 8 million balls. Except for
that's a lot of balls.
Well, we've got our friend Nick, who's only got one now, so that's like 3,999,000.
Hey, it could just be a double-sized ball. I mean, so
look, I used it for the very first time today, this morning before I came. We're shooting on a Saturday. Everybody knows that we usually shoot on like Thursdays in the evening. So I just used it today.
Shoot on Thursdays in the evening shave on Saturday mornings.
We did the unboxing on the last episode, right?
Yeah.
So we got the really cool box. You want to show them the box, right?
Yes, I did.
This is the Weed Whacker. We've got a couple of, we're going to talk about those bottles right now.
I have to try the Weed Whacker. That's my Weed Whacker right there.
Yeah.
They sent me. I can't wait actually because, no, really, seriously.
I've used one that had like a sideways blade. You had to go around. I've never used one like this. I'll show it too. I've never used one that just goes straight up and kind of gets everything.
It's a rotary style design. Yeah.
This is my problem with. I've always trimmed my underarm. I'm like a hairless monkey under the shirt. I'm like I don't have like my men in my family on my mom's side aren't hairy. On my dad's side, they're like wildebeest. They're just like everywhere.
Bigfoot.
So luck I got it from my mom's side, right?
Sasquatch.
So I do I shave my underarms. I let it grow. I let it grow for a long time when it grows long, and then I shave again, right? So my problem has always been that I use with the whatever buzzers or using razors or anything like that. That's all going to give you really crazy nicks, right? So I'm like, okay, what am I going to expect from this? Okay, great. They're working with the show. I want to say nice things about them, but I can honestly say this is the game changer for me right here. This little guy.
Oh,
because I was able to use this on my smooth parts without the cap.
Right.
No problems.
But when you go off road, bro.
Yes. When I went off road, I actually they gave you. Let me show you what they gave me, which I probably wouldn't have done it. They gave you some there was some literature about the product, and it actually gave you some tips on. This is actually the one here. It's let's get mowing. Right? And then it actually says, be smart, pick your length, and use a guard around your goods. If I didn't see that, I probably would have just used it like I've always had without the, what do they call these? Like the little trimmer cap, right?
You would have gone in without a helmet.
I would have went in. I would have come out looking like Saving Private Ryan or something like that, like all bloodied up.
You would have looked like Darth Vader when they pulled the helmet off, For
me, I've been doing this for a long time. For me, this was the game changer right here because also, I have a razor that I use for my face, and it has the caps, but the caps are too long. It would be like this, it wouldn't get it close enough. This was perfect. I'm super freaking happy with this. So it just looks cool, and it got the little light.
That's the new one.
Yeah, this is
one. Yeah.
What's that?
It's a little bit different shape than the.
This is, I think, they're calling this the Performance Package 4.0, so I believe this is upgraded as well. So,
okay.
So, again, for me, it was that. Yeah. So, again, no more nicks for me. And now, we did the unboxing on the last episode, and you know what? We didn't take when we opened up the box, and it had the Reviver
the stuff,
and the other stuff that was in the box. There's like a newspaper, and some other literature and the boxers. I knew that they sent us boxers, so I did get my boxers and the bag.
So wait, if your boxers are in that bag, they're not on you.
Well, I wanted to show him today. If not, I would have worn him along with the T-shirt that they sent us.
What,
Nice
you
T-shirt.
drop your drawers to show.
So
I'm wearing a.
So now this is the other.
ball sack.
This is the other thing that you're crazy. You're a trip. So the other thing that I do. I don't really share this too much. This is going to be the first time. Like, I don't leave the house without putting powder on my nuts. I put baby powder on my nuts. So I'm trying the crop preserver. Now the problem with that, my wife fucking hates
like a Boston cream set up there.
My wife hates it because I get powder all over. Like, I actually go in the shower. Like, we have a big stand-up shower now in the new place. So I go in and I put the powder, right?
Just make it confectioner's sugar, and then you can both enjoy it.
You walk out and the powder goes all over the bathroom. She freaking hates it. So I believe this is going to save me. So I tried it for the first time. Feels really good.
What is
it? It's called the crop preserver.
Oh.
You put a little on your hand. It's a little lotion.
Be nice.
You put a little lotion down there. I don't want to read all of the instructions on it or what it says.
Is that to stop the little red bumps you get when you?
No. This isn't like an aftershave. This is kind of like.
Well, I hope it's not like an aftershave.
Yeah.
Oh,
it'd be like but down here, right? Home Alone.
Yeah, no.
The porn version of Home Alone.
Home meets alone. Home meets alone.
Hey, look, I'm trying the crop preserver. I'm going to report back to you guys. It's literally the vibe. Cool. I put it on and I came here, so I'm going to report back.
Cool.
You could put this on. It's called a ball deodorant, but I know that it said it says for athletes to stay fresh and counter chafing while running, biking, weightlifting. Now my eyes are horrible. I can't read it all, but so
cool.
I'm hoping that this is going to be what I'm going to be using in lieu of the baby powder.
Yeah.
But they gave us a really cool bag. They gave us the boxers. You got them. Boxers. Miguel got them as well. The crop revivers. They call it a ball toner. I haven't tried this yet, so I'm not even going to talk about it until I try it, and then I can report back to everybody.
You got to put that on. You got to put that on in the gym, and you're standing in the mirror there with other people around you. It's like, what are you doing? That's ball toner.
I've never gone naked in the gym.
It's my ball toner.
I've never gone naked in the gym.
Listen, if I'm going to tone my body, I'm going to tone my balls.
I've never showered at the gym, at school, or at a regular gym ever.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like I don't know. I feel like the only guys that do that are like guys looking for a little bit of attention, like the old guy that comes over and stands next to you.
Always, there's like 8 of them in there. There's like,
I can't even say it's not even hanging like this. It's more it's hanging like this.
There's always like 12 guys in the men's bathroom, right? And they're all naked, and like 3 of them are in the sauna, right? And the other guys are just standing around, like kind of talking with their wangs just kind of hanging out. Like, hey, yeah, so I was just chilling. And then they're looking at you like, because you're new there, and you're kind of like, well, what the fuck?
Wait a minute. Hold on. When was the last time you actually went to a gym?
Long time.
When is this happening?
Long time. This was.
You taking a schwitz up in New York somewhere?
No, this was up in the 90s.
This is somebody's talking to you. You're in the gym. Somebody's talking to you, and then they take their towel off, and they're like, you're supposed to have a conversation with this person who's now naked in front of you in the gym. You're not naked. They're naked. Little guys dangling.
If you ever been to the nude beach, it's the same thing. It looks like can you go to the nude beach with your friends? No. I've done it, and it's weird.
What do you mean? Not be nude, but they're nude?
No. You go with your friends, and you get naked. But it's just that moment where you have to now take it off. And you're all, know each other for years, but it's like, this is going to instantly get weird.
Your little guy's in
there
no
like time from we were friends.
He's got his turtleneck all the way up too.
It's like the sonic barrier. We were friends. Now it's weird.
I'm always going to know what your wiener looks like. Not that I know
whatever your junk looks like. But make sure it's trimmed. With your with your lawnmower.
Bring it back to MANSCAPED. Bring it back to our sponsor.
There you go.
So listen, guys, get 20% off and free shipping with code JJD at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off, free shipping anywhere in the world at manscaped.com and use code JJD. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Nice.
What up? Take us out, Bo.
Take us out with some buzzing sounds.
Once again, everybody, Milton campus. I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. We got Bo behind the camera today.
Bo behind the camera.
Miguel's behind all these boxes. You can't see him.
Miguel is in one of those boxes. He's hiding in there.
everybody. We're also sponsored by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business. We got website design, Google Ads, graphic design. I always say they can help. We can help. If you don't already know, I own Black Belt Digital Marketing. If you're doing anything with the company, I'm going to be your contact for the most part. So, especially if you're from the show or you're a listener. So reach out.
Cheating or is that
what's that?
Is that cheating?
Is that cheating? Well, we sponsor the show. Black Belt does all of does everything for the show. So, except you do the production,
smart.
we do the graphics and the other stuff.
Just very smart.
Check them out. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram and on our website at bbdigitalmarketing.com. It's not Black Belt, bbdigitalmarketing.com. The other domain wasn't available when we started the company. We do something really cool. If you request a free online review, we'll actually put your business, your address, all your information into our system, and then generate a report. And you'll get a video back from me. I'll explain the review. My little face will be in the corner, and you get to see me again. And I'll give you just kind of an overview of kind of what's good, what's bad, what we can help with, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And even just give you some tips. You don't have to hire us. That review doesn't cost you a dime. But we'll give you some insights as to kind of where all the bodies are buried. Okay? We are also sponsored by Neutral Zone CBD. They have 3 lines of CBD products. We're working with the sports recovery line. You see a bunch of stuff here on the table. I just picked up the box this morning. Loaded. Can you get a shot of that?
Wow, holy cow.
Can you see that?
What?
Yeah, tons of stuff here. I haven't even had a chance to try one thing. I literally picked it up and drove down to the studio here in Miami.
That's from Neutral Zone?
This is from Neutral Zone, man.
Holy
CBD lotions.
Moly.
They did send, I believe that this is part of the women's products here. So this is a full spectrum CBD. This is a massage oil. Ooh, my wife's going to like that. Lots of tinctures. I know they have, I really, really wanted I think it might be on the table over there. I wanted the tincture. Here it is. CBD isolate plus melatonin tincture. Berry. Again, didn't even open anything. I wanted to get here and do everything first.
Cool.
But they gave us some patches, CBD patches. I'm interested in kind of playing with this a little bit, figure that out. And there's some masks. Again, Neutral Zone CBD sheet mask. So lots of really cool stuff. Look, Mike and Candy over at Neutral Zone. So far, they've been amazing. Again, look at this sports recovery, a muscle rub. I tried to, had to get gas. I was like, let me try this. And then I was like, no, let me hold off on doing anything until I'm home. But it smelled amazing. My car smells all minty now. Anyway, look, guys, this is very cool. Best business card ever. Look at that.
Nice.
You have a card? Yes, here you go.
That's cool.
I thought they were stickers at first. I'm like, oh,
you could just throw that like a Chinese star at them.
Yeah, right? So they loaded us up. I'm super excited to start to play with this stuff. Start getting back on my CBD game, which I haven't been doing. CBD. So thank you very much, guys. Check them out at neutralzonecbd.com. Use code JJD for 25% off your order. And then you can also check them out at My Neutral Zone on Instagram. All right. Again, I'm going to report back. I don't like to talk too much about the products unless I've actually used them. So we're going to know after the next episode. Shout out to
smell it now. I can smell it from here.
You smell it, right? Yeah, it smells really good, right? It's not overpowering like Ben Gay smell.
Yeah.
Like it just smells really nice and minty,
you don't
right?
smell like my grandfather. So.
So shout out to our friend George Hernandez at Hernandez Claims. He is a public adjuster who can help settle a commercial or residential insurance claim on your behalf. He is now licensed in Florida and Texas. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals help get you the most compensation possible from your insurance company. So, hurricane damage, tornado damage, flooding, a fire. He comes out, they estimate the damage, and they're going to work with you, with the insurance company on your behalf. Everybody knows, right? The insurance company is going to want to give you as little as possible, right? So he's going to help you get the most possible, right? So check them out on Instagram at Hernandez Claims, or the website, which was built by Black Belt Digital Marketing. See how everything works together? HernandezClaims.com. All right. You can fill out a little form. It's just a one-page website just to fill out the form, and you'll send a request for a callback. All right. Let's not forget our boy Sean over at Flow and Roll amazing things going on over there. I'm so excited to be working with him. He is so easy to work with. Sent us so much gear at the beginning of the year of really his new sponsorship stint with us. So check them out at flow_n_roll on Instagram and flowandroll.com. You can use our code JJD to get 20% off your order. We've got.
We need something to put on the table. We need something with the Flow and Roll logo to put on the table there.
I should have taken this bad boy out. Do I have my keys? So we've got our new. So far, Sean's got our T-shirts. We've got keychains. We're really just giving these away. I don't even want him to sell them, to be honest. The keychain, I told him put them in all his bags, all of his orders, and he can put them in all of ours. He sends out our our guest
really
packages.
Cool, they're rubber too, and they flex.
All right, so
you can also use it as a rubber stamp.
He'll probably put them for sale on the site, but I really just wanted them to. If you order something, you're going to get one for free.
Could use it as a rubber stamp too.
Maybe.
Yeah, you could. You could dip it and then stick it on, and then annoy everyone.
Now we work with Sean. Like the sponsorship category that he fills is not just like, hey, gi and no gi. We want to introduce him to gyms, teams that need to buy in bulk, right? That need 100 gis for their gym, or you're a brand new gym owner and you need to buy all of your no gi kits, right? He's going to work with you. It's going to make it affordable for you to get what you need to get started. So just go to the website, check them out, email him, flowandroll@gmail.com. Just reach out. He's an awesome guy. He'll work with anyone. He'll make it happen for you. We've got our new rash guard being designed. So our Peace Love Jiu Jitsu rash guard is going to be really cool.
We have to correct that. So I'm doing the T-shirt. He's doing the rash guard.
You started a design for
because we were talking about it on the last episode.
So we're going to do the you're going to do the T-shirt. You did like a funnier version. We're going to have like a funny T-shirt version, and then there's going to be a different design for the rash guard that's going to be a little bit darker. Maybe this turns into a line for us. Who knows?
I do humorous shit. So.
Yeah. So it was really cool. I like the initial design. We won't tell them too much.
I do stuff with my humorous.
So shout out to Britt Tavar, our booking manager and sponsorship coordinator. She's doing an amazing job. Thank you, Britt. Miguel is actually not here today. Boo. We're shooting on a Saturday. Yeah. He has family obligations. I respect that. Yeah. We've got like, this is what we have. How many do we have in the can now? We have one that we're going to launch probably Monday morning.
Do one for review, another one I'm working on now, and then
this one. So we have three because we're off next week. My daughter's coming in from out of town, so we still have three to pump out during that time. I'll still be working, but
it's like too much shit in an air fryer. It's like too much shit in an air fryer. You know?
What do we? What didn't we put out yet? We have
potatoes, steak, chicken.
Jadson Castro.
Jadson
Castro. Okay. Jadson.
Costa.
No. Costa. Yeah. Sorry, Jason. Jason Costa.
Yeah.
We have what else?
It's, the girl we had.
We have Beans of Nebula.
Yes.
Rebecca Madison.
Man, my brain.
So that's the other one. That's the one. We have that one, and now we'll have this one with Tomer Alroy.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Welcome to the BJJ box. We did our unboxing on the last episode. Now
we have a box there.
We did the unboxing of that box. Check them out. It's a subscription service, right? Up to like 4 to 7 items in each box. I really want to point this out before I go too far.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there.
Right here.
Yeah.
This right here.
Yeah.
ProTech Athletics Spiky Massage Ball. Now I know it looks like a little cat toy.
Yeah.
I took this out. I threw it in the living room, and when I sat on the couch, I'll like work from the couch a little bit because if I'm just on my laptop doing busy work, put this on the floor, and I just started. Let me check this thing out.
Yeah. Man,
okay, so this is my first reaction. Dude. I was just like, "Oh wow, can't like push too hard on it." It's like it's spiky ball.
That's the whole point of it. Just keep doing it and watch what happens.
You could you can manage it. You're not standing on it, right?
Yeah. But at first, it's going to be a little bit like spiky. You'll feel the spikes, but once it starts to massage you,
no, you haven't used it yet. Let me tell you. So you're massaging. It's when you stop. It's
a blood flow.
It didn't do it. It didn't. It was kind of cool doing it with your feet.
Yeah.
Did it with both feet. It's when you stop. It feels like Like when you're walking with like a good sneaker, like with a good insole.
Yeah.
Like you feel like actually these Pumas that I have like have this awesome, like really cushiony insole. It feels like you don't have any shoes on, but you're walking on like something that's
pillow,
fluffy.
Yeah, pillow cushion.
It just and now I get a lot of pain in my feet because I jump rope. I jump rope when I do like heavy bag training. Okay. So I'll jump rope, hit the bag, jump rope.
Do hopscotch too? I mean,
so sometimes you're a son of a bitch. So actually, like, not only do your calves get tight, which is good, you like that, but sometimes I wake up in the morning the day after and my feet feel like flat feet.
Yeah,
like they really just feel like you're like I have
especially
to like walk
the middle
slowly.
Of the arch of the foot.
Yeah.
A lot of people have problems with that, man. A lot of people have problems.
Right here,
with
I just been using it the last week. This is my standout. I haven't used everything out of the last box. I haven't even worn the T-shirt.
You did that before. I noticed when you came in, you were like, you brought that product back out of everything that was in the box.
I'm saying this is my standout.
In the box, man.
You know when you get a Christmas gift and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that gift,
nice sweater,
winds up being the thing that like you use forever.
Yeah.
I remember somebody gave me like toenail clippers one time. For like a set.
Those are relevant.
I kept that for years. I used it. It had toenail clippers. It had fingernail clippers. It had tweezers. I used it forever. And I know that they were gold. So they'd always stood out to me that they were like always mixed in with my stuff.
You pick any spot in the timeline of infinity and nail clippers are relevant.
Yeah, right. Jiu-jitsu too.
Always
but
needed.
Amazing. This
to be
is worth
floating
the price
in
of it.
Space, dude. If you
worth
could be
the price of admission, right?
You could be floating in space. In 3 months, you're going to be like, "Damn, I wish I had a nail clipper." And you're floating in space.
That's true, right? But again, look, I'm just saying. My standout from the last box was this. Well, I was surprised. I kind of like, okay, I told Miguel, I'll take that one.
Cool shit like that, you need to go to BJJ Box. So, right?
The BJJBox.com. Did I say too many J's? BJJBox.com. So, again, monthly subscription service. Now, they have different levels. There's a VIP box. There's one that you could do like quarterly, and it has a rash guard. Like, there are all types of options for any budget. So go check them out. Code JJD10 for $10 off your first order. So I know a lot of our stuff is just JJD.
Yeah.
JJD10 for $10 off at the BJJBox.com. All right. You get like grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies.
Yeah, and all kinds of surprises.
I put Neutral Zone and BJJ Box together already. I said, hey, maybe you guys should be talking. You got lots of stuff. What could you put in your box?
That's
right. So
very smart.
Hopefully we see that happening as well.
Very smart.
All right. What else we got? That's about it, right? Do we shout out everybody?
I think we got a guest.
We have a guest here today?
We have a guest who'll kick the
just not like what
shit out of you, man. He'll beat your ass and then then get you to think about it. Professor
Tomer is a serious dude. He's coming to us from Tel Aviv, Israel. All right, so we're going to be doing the Zoom. He's actually flying into the U.S. today, but we're shooting before he leaves.
This is our first one across the pond, right?
Yeah, you know what? We have another one coming. I didn't tell you about.
You know the CIA
from Australia
was spying on the signal, you know. All that popping.
Well, this is a very serious dude. He was a Krav Maga instructor.
Krav Maga.
In the Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Trying to say,
you need a cigar in your.
He was a Krav Maga instructor in the Israeli military. Right? They're required to go into the military at 18. 2 years for females, 3 years for males. This is a really serious dude. Wait till you hear him speak, though. He's like the nicest guy. He's like the nicest guy in the world.
Is he? Well, I've watched on
super, just like his demeanor. You'll see. Yeah. So let's get him in here.
You know what's crazy? These Israeli military is tough. Is really tough, dude.
So, but
they have like a reputation of like they'll kick the shit out of the entire world at the same time.
Yeah, I think a little crazy, right?
Like they're trained. They're trained so hard, man. He's,
from what I understand, and we'll talk about it a little bit today, is he was in, I believe, where he taught his Krav Maga, that's the equivalent of the Navy SEALs in the U.S. So we'll let him explain and talk about it. Wow. So let's get him in here.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, joining us today is Professor Tomer Alroy. How you doing, Professor?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm going to call you Tomer the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Thank you very much, man.
A lot of the guys just call me Tom for some reason. I don't know why. They shortened.
I bet those are like in the U.S. probably, right?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Like, I guess Tomer's not a common name here, so it's like we shorten everything.
They're Americans.
I'm Milton. They call me Milty. You know, like it's we like to shorten everything. It's just too much effort to put into saying the whole name. So let's dive right in. I mean, there's so much to talk about. You are coming to us from Israel. Where exactly are you?
I'm in Tel Aviv. I live in Tel Aviv. All the guys from Israel say they're from Tel Aviv, but I'm actually from Tel Aviv. So,
is it one of those things like it's just easier to say that because then nobody else is going to know the cities?
You know Tel Aviv and all that, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm really like pure born Tel Aviv.
And you're flying to the U.S. today. You just told me you're flying in, right?
Yes. In a few hours, I'm going to be heading to San Diego to film Jiu Jitsu X course.
Okay.
And train at Ados and do some other stuff, some other projects. So can't wait for it.
I've heard you mention Atos before, and you also will do some training on occasion with the Mendez brothers, right? You'll go up to their gym as well?
Yes. This time, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a lot of training there, but I already booked a few private classes with the guys over there. So can't wait for it.
You taking the privates?
Of course. You know, it's a white belt mentality. You know, you always have something to learn.
Always learning. I love it. Like I said, I've actually heard you talk about it, and I was just like, wow, at your level, you're still taking privates from people. I think you is it Hafa that you mentioned? I think I've heard you mention that you used to do.
Well, Hafa wasn't the first person to talk to me about it. Like the first person to talk to me about it was GSP. He's the first person that really he always explained how a white belt mentality is such an important tool as a martial artist. Of course, as a Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. Because first of all, I think it's fun to be a student again. You know, when I used to teach a lot in my academy, and when you take a moment to be a student again, it's fun. You know, you don't need to think about what you need to teach and how to do it and how to build the class. You just let it flow. And as a white belt mentality, when you open yourself up to a new technique and new learning stuff, it gets me excited about jiu-jitsu again. You know,
more pressure being a student or more pressure being a coach.
I think being a coach, because I really want to not impress the guys, but I really want to improve. You know, so I have to find like the right type of training to get them, especially the competition guys, to get them excited again about training, because they train so many times per day, every day. You don't want to be like doing the same stuff over and over again. So it's not about the techniques all the time. It's about like get them excited about the training, and then when they are already like in the mood, then you can start, you know, either show the technique or do the main part of the class that you wanted to do.
So I really do want to get into the whole mindset side of jiu-jitsu. That it's one of the things that interests me about you the most. But let's just take a step back and tell everybody how you found martial arts and jiu-jitsu. Let's just kind of give them the background and just your journey till now.
Well, my first steps in the martial arts world, my whole family trains in martial arts. My father is a black belt. My brother is a black belt as well. Wow. And I started doing karate at the age of 4, I believe. You know, as a after school activity. And at the age of 17, I started to move more towards the MMA, you know, type of training. There weren't any MMA scene in Israel, but you know, my father always liked to show me the UFC, like the old UFC stuff.
Was he training then? Was he training first?
Yes, he did Kyokushin karate.
Okay.
If you know, it's like full contact karate.
Okay.
And you know, because we wanted to do MMA, then we started to look at stuff at YouTube and whatever was available at the time. So we started to do some jiu-jitsu. I don't even call it jiu-jitsu. It was like, here's a triangle, or it was no system, nothing. But then we found out a black belt from Brazil that lived in Israel. So we start training with him. We come to private classes with him every day. and I did boxing and wrestling. And like originally I was more into MMA than just jiu-jitsu. During my army in Israel, I do 3 years mandatory service at the army. I was a Krav Maga instructor at the Special Forces. After my service, I wanted to just go out there and train. So I traveled to Thailand to Tiger Muay Thai, if you know the gym. It's one of the best MMA facility in the world. And it's such an amazing place to go out and train there, because it's like a paradise of martial arts, right? Because you have a gym every few meters, either Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu. The Jiu-Jitsu scene in Phuket is getting really strong right now. There's a lot of BJJ schools, and it's like, what can you ask more than
That's awesome.
Training and go to the beach? You have really good food. The healthy lifestyle there is really getting better. So it was amazing. And when I traveled to Thailand, I trained there. There were a lot of UFC guys that trained there at the time. Peter Yan was there.
Oh yeah, he's fighting today.
A lot of good UFC. Yeah, I trained with him. Like when he came to Tiger, before we moved to the UFC, he was there, and he was one of my wrestling partners. He's the only guy. And back then I felt I'm better at boxing than in jiu-jitsu, right? I was like the stand-up guy. And it's the only guy that I felt that can knock me out whenever he wants. The moment he just wants to knock me out, he can do it. He's just not doing it because he feels bad. He feels sorry for me or something like that. I pull guard, I pull guard.
I'm sure that's how some guys feel rolling with you now. I know he can end me and choke me out at any time that he wants, but he's letting me work.
No, he was so fast. Like he stopped the jab and the crosses and everything right before they hit me. And you understand, like, okay, you could knock me out if you want to. Okay, I got you. But when I got back to Israel after 6 months, my coach today just tried to make me compete, and I hated to compete back then. I was really stressed out about competing. I didn't want to compete. I felt a lot of pressure when I competed, and we call it Barracuda. Okay, what he did to me. Okay, Barracuda is like doing something that you don't know, like try to mess with you, but in a good way. So he told me that he wanted me to compete in this small competition in Cyprus. Okay, and I told him that I don't want to because I have the pressure, and I don't want to because I get nervous and all that. And he told me, don't worry about it. It's just, it's a small competition. You have like 1 fight, 2 fights, and we're going to be there for 1 hour. Then we're going to go out, travel. We're going to do jet ski and all that. And because I was after the army, I had like this free spirit that let's go, let's do some new stuff. So I said, okay, let's do it. Fuck it. And what I didn't know is he already booked the ticket. He already bought me the ticket before I even said yes. Like, even if I said no,
you were going.
There was no other choice. He got permission from my father. Like, my father was involved in this. And
wow.
And yeah, I went out there. I competed.
Let me stop you real quick. Was it him knowing that you were talented? I mean, I'm sure you've maybe talked about it since then. Was it that you were so talented and he needed to push you? Or were you scared and he says, you're either going to kind of be in or out with this? You're either maybe this is what's going to push you over the edge and then you're going to fall in love with jiu-jitsu, or was it the first? Do you know? Have you had the conversation? It was a combination
of both of them, because I think he saw the potential and he just wanted me to, because I had such a bad experience from competing when I was younger. He just wanted me to see a different experience from competition, and he told me, like, just compete there, and whatever happens, you did it, and then you can decide if you want to compete again or not.
And what happened?
I won. I won. It went great. Like, I did. I fought him. I fought amazing back then, and I had such a good experience after that I wanted to compete every day afterwards. And that's funny because I had such a good experience competing that first competition. Afterwards, he signed me to the IBJJF Europeans, which is not an easy competition. If you ever been there, you know that.
Yeah.
Especially in purple belts, you have like 70 guys in the categories. You have like 6-7 fights. And my first fight was Jonathan Gracie. He wasn't that known back then. but he was still really good. That year, he took first place at the European, and he took double gold in the worlds at purple belts.
Wow.
He was my first fight. I didn't even know what happens to me back then. Like, I went to the fight, like, okay, let's go, let's do it. He finished the fight after like 2 minutes. I was shocked. I didn't even know what happened. But I remember that the moment I stepped off the mat, I just told my coach, like, I'm gonna compete every month now. Let's do it. I want to compete every time.
Yeah.
He gave me a drive to keep competing. Yeah, it was funny, but and I have a private class with him this next.
Oh yeah.
On this Monday. Yeah, with Jonathan Gracie.
That's good. I like that you said that a couple of times. Is that a big part of your personal training? Is seeking out those one-on-ones with different, higher level. Especially
when I go out and travel and in doing like these small training camps. It's like an investment, If I can invest money in my jiu-jitsu, I'm going to do it, especially with this type of high-level guys. Mm-hmm. That it's not only about the techniques. Sorry, it's about learning these small details, their mindset. I want to see how they feel before they compete. Or when they compete, how they train, how they react to certain type of training and problems that occurs when they train. It's like a small study,
Yeah. Were you always like that? Did you always seek out that one-on-one training, or was that something like me when you got to a higher level?
Always. I always, the moment I saw opportunity, like there was a lot of high-level guys that would visit Israel to help the team train. I always like to take a few private classes with them just to see, maybe they have some new details that I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have, now it's more about the mindset. I try to focus on how they compete, how they train, how they deal with the anxiety. And then I can study it a little bit better, when I want to improve the team mindset.
So now fast forward, so you're doing martial arts before you went into the military, right? You said
yes.
Then mandatory 3 years. You're teaching Krav Maga. So you come out of the military, and then what happens?
Then I was focusing on training, just improving, my skill, because the only thing I wanted to do when I was in the army is just train full time, and I didn't even compete back then. I just wanted to train. I just wanted to be like at the highest level I can be, like the other guys in the world, I wanted to train with the UFC guys and train with the high-level jiu-jitsu guys and all of that. And then when I get back from Thailand, my coach pushed me to compete, and then I started to compete every time, and I was focused purely on jiu-jitsu.
So you knew when you came out of the military, this is going to be the career?
Yes and no. I knew that I'm going to do a few years as a competitor just to see where I go with it. I didn't know how many years I'm going to do it. But then when I started to be more into jiu-jitsu, I knew I'm going to study psychology. And when I started my learning psychology, doing the degree, I felt that, it was like a double degree. I did one in economics and one in psychology. After like 2 years, I decided that I don't like the economics one. I prefer to stay only on psychology and then move into sports psychology. And that's what I wanted to do now, doing sports psychology and working with athletes within the sport.
So it's funny, I'm looking at the whiteboard behind you, and it just looks like calculations of either jiu-jitsu, like is it jiu-jitsu, is it psychology, or is it nothing related to anything at all, or schedule?
Yeah, this is Hebrew, so it looks like weird, I believe. But,
it looks like physics equations from the distance.
Yeah, no. It's just all the stuff that I have on my mind right now that I like. This part is about the social media that I needed to do every week. Mm-hmm. That part is about the online academy that I want to do, and this part was YouTube, but I decided that I don't want to go that route yet. Okay, so.
So this is planning for the future,
organizing your thoughts.
Exactly. That's good. Yeah. I don't do that, but I put everything in my phone. I usually I'll open up. I use my calendar as really my reminder, so that on this day at this time I'm going to think about or do this thing. Things can move around, but I very much if I think of something You know, I run a marketing company. I do this podcast, and I try to train as often as possible, which I've been hurt for a couple of months. So I've actually been out. I probably will return next week or maybe like May 1. But there's so many things going on in my mind that if I don't put them down, I will literally like think of something, forget it. I tell my wife I've been calling it bandwidth. I don't have enough bandwidth to really truly remember or think about everything at once. So I have to keep notes and make little calendar appointments for myself. Definitely.
I'm the type of guy that reminds himself to send a message to someone because I forget everything.
You remind yourself to remind
everything
yourself.
From, just from like content that I want to post or stuff that I want to film for the Instagram or all the type of projects that I want to do. Everything is on my phone.
So how far into your psychology degree, or what level are you at? Have you graduated college? Or are you going for a doctorate? What does this hold for you?
So I took a break from my degree because I wanted to compete a lot. So I took a break for 2 years, like in the middle of the degree. Now I have 1 more year to finish because I came back after COVID hit, went back to finish the degree. I have 1 more year, and then I start the sports psychology. I think it's a master's in sports psychology.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about your government provides, financing, backing for a state-run jiu-jitsu team, correct? I'll let you explain it, but just to kind of preface it, does that make it easier to do what you wanted to be able to train jiu-jitsu knowing that you're getting help? And does that relate to kind of that military service side of things? Like, are they so behind jiu-jitsu because it's going to help people that are going to the military? Like, are those things related at all?
Not so much. No. Okay. So,
like, do they want to just have like these killer soldiers that are, Krav Maga jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, well, Krav Maga is really strong in the Israeli army. It makes sense because it's like the national, it comes from Israel, but no, like to be an instructor in the Krav Maga in the military, it's like a different type of course that you need to do. Well, of course, the professional athletes in Israel, they go in a professional athlete's route. So they go to the military, but they do like an athlete job, let's call it like that. So they don't do a lot of the time in the military because they have a lot of freedom to go out and train and compete.
Okay.
Because if not, you just lose 3 years that are really important.
And it's male, female too, right? It's
yes.
What age does the requirement begin? Is it a certain age?
18.
At 18, men and women are both going in.
You recruited at 18.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. For the army, you recruited at the age of 18. Girls do 2 years and guys do 3 years.
So that's everybody. People try to get out of that, or is that frowned upon?
Well, you have some ways to get out of it. Some people go to a psychiatrist. They pretend that they're crazy or something like that. But I believe that if you go to that route of pretend to be crazy, then you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're gonna, and then you carry that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
For me specifically, the army like changed my life in a good way. Because it made me such an independent person, early on in my life, because I was really spoiled back then before the army. And when I had to recruit it, I had to be on my own, in a way. And I went from one extreme to other extreme. Like I was when I finished the army service, I could sleep on a rock.
Yeah.
I didn't care about anything.
It's the one regret. I don't have a lot of regrets in my life because I believe that everything's brought me to a point. I was so undisciplined, and I went away to college as a wild kid. Like, wow, I got freedom from my parents. My father was a cop, very strict. So when I went, I just partied it up in school, and I had to. I dropped out after 2 years, 1 year away, 1 year in community college, and then I stopped. I was desperate for that discipline outside of my house. I was a kid. I was an 18-year-old little kid that didn't know any better, just drinking his way through college. It's the one thing that I wish I had. I wanted to go into law enforcement, what I tried to do. That would have prepared me for all the things that I had planned on doing. But again, I don't like to talk about regrets because I believe everything has brought me to this point right here. I'm very happy in my life,
You and me both, because
I can look. No, I can look in a way on on like the 3 years that I did on the army, that I lost 3 years of my life to do something else. It's still 3 years that I could work, earn more money, or, study, like finish the degree. But again, I felt like these 3 years made me such a different person. For example, even the instructor course in the army for the Krav Maga, it really built a good foundation for how to build a training session for me. They really teach you a good way on how to be an instructor and how to build the class and how to control the student during the class. And it made me teach a lot of training during the army. I had a lot of groups that I had to teach during my service and during the time there, and many different type of person. Some of them were, special forces, like you imagine, like you tell them to jump, they jump, and other guys, they have no idea what to do, and you need to teach them how to save their own lives. And after that, the mindset in the army is like, you always want to review the stuff that you do and improve them. So I, like we talked about in the beginning, like this mindset of like learning all the time came from there, like trying to
so those 3 years for you were absolutely worth it, because it's taught you so many things that you're carrying over to today.
Exactly.
That's what I'm missing that I wish I had. I know that 2 to 4 years in the military would have changed me as I would have made me a man, when I really don't feel like I grew up until I was in my late 20s and early 30s, because I was just wild child. I needed somebody to reel me in, and at that point there was nobody that was going to do it.
It's a funny thing in Israel that you have like this your life. You finish high school at the age of 18, and then you're going to go to the army. So you have like a break in your life for 3 years, 2 years. And then what happens most of the time, most of the guys or girls in Israel, they just go out there and travel, after the army. That's what I did, but I just traveled to train.
To jiu-jitsu.
So it kind of helped me. Yeah. So I just like trained and had fun for a year. And then I started to just compete and focus on jiu-jitsu and training and teaching.
When did the mindset side of things, especially for competing and what you're doing, when did that really click for you? Was that clicking in the military, or was it like after the military you started to realize, wow, like there's so much of this is a mental game? Some people say, 70-30, 80-20 mental to physical. Mm-hmm. When did that click for you?
So if I had to separate it, because I had all this mindset stuff started at the army, because a lot of the training were mental. Not were mindset, were mental. Many of the training at the army were purely mental. I was trying to break the guy, and especially at the beginning, because the training course is around a year and a half to 2 years, and the first 6 months is just trying to qualify the guys that really want to stay there. Mm-hmm. And the training is like, honestly, it's horrible. Like I was trying to break them, not physically. I never touched a soldier, but mentally. Like some training were at the middle of the night, in the middle of the winter, and I just tell them to go out into the water, stay there for a few minutes. They go back to the sand, roll in the sand, then stand still, then go back to the water. Just trying to see who's gonna make it and who's going to tell me, I want to stay here, I just want to go home. And there were a lot of like psychology behind that. I didn't do it because it looks cool, It was all approved protocols to see who can stand this type of like, who really want to stay there.
Do they pluck like almost like the U.S. has the Navy SEALs? Are those the guys that they're plucking out to go further in the military? Like, okay, yes, this guy is just
I was like
tough.
I was in the equivalent of the Navy SEALs in Israel.
Okay, all right.
I was in the same type of unit.
Okay.
And after they qualify, let's call it like that, after they qualified after this type of training, most of the Krav Maga training at the beginning were purely mental for aggressive. Like I was trying to see who is really aggressive fighter, not purely technical, but to see who is aggressive, who can go from a 0 to 100 in a few seconds, and who's who's just pretending, to scream and shout and, go wild. It's easy, but who's really can break through. And there was a lot of cool type of training that I can do. Like one of them was, I had like a few guys standing in like a wall, and I tell one guy to break that wall of guys. And there's no technique. If I take like not five, let's say 10 guys standing in lines, one behind another and holding hands, and I tell one guy just go in between them and then try to break through, there's no technique. It's purely aggressive, like trying to really go out there and do it. And there was a lot of stuff involved. Like I put a lot of background noises and shouting and screaming and all that. And you can really see who's really imagining, like trying to save someone behind that wall of guys, and who's just pretending to scream and like, I'm going to do it. And he's not even trying, because he knows I'm going to stop him in a few seconds or something like that. And I took that mindset into the jiu-jitsu training. But when I started to compete, I faced a different type of mindset, because, it's not the same as Krav Maga, you're not fighting for your life. Mm-hmm. So as a competitor, I felt different type of emotions and different type of stress that I didn't see as an instructor back then, about like, not pulling the trigger before you compete, having this feeling that you fight better at the gym, but you're not fighting as well in competition. And then it clicked me that there's some other type of mindset that I need to understand, like how to deal with different type of emotions and different type of problems. Like one of the most common one is like how to pull the trigger before you compete, which is a really common.
You cut out there a little bit. Could you say that? Could you say that again? Can you just say that one? What was that? Pulling the trigger on what?
So one of the most common problem that athletes has is not pulling the trigger when they compete.
Okay.
Right. It's like this cold feet. Like
when you got two competitors they just dancing around, holding each other's gis, nobody's shooting, nobody's pulling.
Yeah, they always feel like they almost did their move, but didn't really do it. Or they feel like they compete really good in the gym, but they not bringing their A game into the competition. And I met a company called Wrestling Mindset. They have a lot of really good guys that teach sports psychology and teach how to deal with those mental problems for wrestling. And I worked with these guys for when I competed on how to improve my mindset as a competitor, and I just adjusted like what I learned from them and from my psychology degree and my army service all together into like, let's call it like a adjusted mindset, for this type of competition.
So let's talk about again. Explain it, because I don't want to misrepresent it. But the government does. You have a national jiu-jitsu team, correct?
Yes.
Are you part of that team still?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the assistant coach.
Can you talk a little bit about what they provide and how that all came together? How long has that been around? What do they do for you guys?
Yeah. So my coach is the national coach, and I'm his assistant coach for the national team. So it's for the adult team, and I help him with the adult team, and I'm responsible for the, let's call it like the younger team, because they separated into under 16, under 18, under 21, and then they call it adult, which is like over 21. So fortunately, we have a big support from the government for the national team. It's one organization that's called Ayelet. Ayelet supports all the non-Olympic sport. So one of them is jiu-jitsu, but there's many other different sports that are included as well. They have once every 2 years, they have a non-Olympic event, but it's like an Olympic for non-Olympic sports called the Worlds Game. They have one this year on July in Alabama. So we're really excited to go there already. We have few athletes that are preparing for this event.
Did you say Alabama?
Alabama.
I don't think we think of Alabama as the hub of anything sports related, other than maybe college football.
Yeah, but that's where they do the event, so we go there. But so the guys that are a part of the national team, they have a support from the government. They get a scholarship every month. Depends on their achievements. So if they're doing the adult one, the over the 21, they give us obviously higher than the one that gets under the 16. They get a scholarship, they get funding from the government for their flights, competition, and all that stuff. And they help us bring a lot of guys to train with us for training camps in Israel, which, in my opinion, that's one of the things that's really helped the jiu-jitsu in Israel grow, because we had many guys to come help us train. So, of course, we learned some stuff from them. We learned some techniques from them, but we also learned how they teach and how they compete and how they train. And we could adapt with time to improve our jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Which, my coach and I, we really tried to build the jiu-jitsu scene in Israel, and he built in my opinion, one of the best gyms in Europe right now. We have a lot of European champions and world champions and a lot of competitive guys that, go around the world and bring a lot of achievements. So it's amazing, because he had this vision for a long time, and he was so focused on making this dream come true.
Who are there some big names that we should be watching out for, either guys out there like yourself who are spreading the word outside of Israel, and like some up and comers? Are there some big names that we should be looking out for? Yes.
Well, right now we have a few guys that took gold, the Europeans in Rome, in the IBJJF. And I truly believe they're going to be like huge names at the future of the jiu-jitsu. The only problem is it's hard for us to go for, let's say, for pans or for words, because it's usually at the same time of the JJIF competition. Now, the JJIF is the organization that gets funded from the government.
Okay.
So if I bring a medal in the JJIF, I get the scholarship from the government. So it's a priority than other private organizations. But you can look out for Vicky Dabush, Yarin Shriki, Omri Chaviv, Amit Burstein. All these guys are, one of them is a black belt, but most of them are brown belts and purple belts. And they are really good. They are really, really good. Like, they just dominate every competition they go in. Yarin Shriki took gold place in the purple belt now in the IBJJF Europeans.
Can you be a high-level jiu-jitsu competitor at, just a gym down the street? Is it like, or do you guys recruit those guys? Like, you need to come here and come with us? Or are there schools and little, pop-ups that there are monsters in that gym, although they might not be part of the national team?
Yeah, so because it's a national team, it's not like most of the guys are from our gym. It's the Soul Fighters affiliation, but not all of them are Soul Fighters.
Okay.
Most of them are Soul Fighters, but also because it's a national team, there's some other guys that are from different team, but they also train with us under the national team, which actually helps the jiu-jitsu grow, because we all train together. So there's no one gym that has one guy and he train with himself.
Okay.
Comes, he train with us, and we build.
So no matter what, if they're on the national team, they're training with you, but they'll go back and do their own training with their own team?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, of course.
Is there like a requirement how many days a week that they have to be training with you?
Yes, they have to train at least 3 to 4 days in the morning sessions.
With the national team, with you guys. Okay. So there are requirements.
Yeah.
Thank you to DD214 Fightwear, gear for patriotic rollers. Visit their website, dd214bjj.com, and get 15% off your online order with code JJD. And check them out on Instagram at dd214_Fightwear. Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummy sent you. Thank you to Neutral Zone CBD, a combat family-owned company that supports athletes and the people who love them. Neutral Zone strives to deliver clean CBD products for sports recovery in gummies, lotions, balms, roll-ons, and more. After a competition, a hard rolling session, or a tough day on the job, Neutral Zone has a product designed to help you reduce inflammation, increase cell rejuvenation, and may even help with aging joints. Visit NeutralZoneCBD.com and get 25% off your order with code JJD. And follow them on Instagram too, at MyNeutralZone. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. All of us here at the Jiu Jitsu Dummies would like to thank the entire crew over at Flow and Roll for their tremendous support. They're renowned for their incredible t-shirt designs, and they've got something for everyone. Flow and Roll quickly rose up to become the premier custom apparel provider for academies, big or small, throughout the United States. Shoot them an email about your custom order, flowandroll@gmail.com, and they'll be more than happy to get you hooked up. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll for samples of their gi and no-gi kits. They conveniently offer flexible payment options, too. Head over to flowandroll.com for more details, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu Jitsu Dummies signature tee, now exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your online purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD. Special thanks to George Hernandez, Claims Adjuster. Have you experienced damage in your residential or commercial property in the states of Florida or Texas from flood or fire, storms, theft and vandalism, even sinkholes, just to name a few? Don't get stressed out dealing with your insurance provider. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals get you the most compensation possible. Visit HernandezClaims.com or call 305-712-6751 to get help now. And stay in touch with them on Instagram at HernandezClaims.
What's the relation? Actually, I'm stealing a few questions here. We asked for questions from the community. Yeah. Ethan Troyansky actually sent me a couple of questions, so I'm going to be mixing some of those in because he sent me some really good points to talk about.
Yeah, I have a few questions as well. I'm just going to open them.
Yeah, absolutely. And he says, what's the relationship between the BJJ and judo communities in Israel? Do they overlap? Is there cross training? Is it friendly, or is it more like a rivalry? A little bit more like the U.S. We're like, judo.
Well, there's ego.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's ego. As judo evolves, there's less and less focus on the ground. There's less time on the ground, and there's less submission available on the ground. But we do train with them.
Yeah.
We do train with them. I can say once a month or once every 2 weeks we train. We do a collaboration with them. We help with the national judo team. So the Olympic teams are training with us. But again, because it's so different right now from each other, like their takedowns are not as effective for us, and our submissions are not really effective for them because they really have to attack fast.
Yeah.
So we work a lot on like getting a fast submission for them, but because they cannot attack the legs, there's no attacking with the lapel, so it's really hard. They really try to differentiate the sport.
How important do you think is that cross training? Like we're finding more and more like jiu-jitsu gyms are doing wrestling days. Like there's a day you're putting on your boots, you're getting on the same mat, but you're doing a wrestling style practice. How important do you think that is to the jiu-jitsu game? I
really love wrestling. Myself, I really love wrestling. I really believe that they have a lot of stuff that we can learn from wrestling to implement in jiu-jitsu. One of them is the mindset, the way they train and the way they think is really important. A good example for this is like no jiu-jitsu guy want to face a wrestler as their first match. No one. And there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
It's not because he's not doing good jiu-jitsu. No, it's because you need to kill him.
Yeah.
You need to kill him to
you will be on your back at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you try to take their back, they try to peel you off. They don't give you nothing.
There's no holding back, like what we said before. Sometimes when you watch two jiu-jitsu players in a match and they're just like they're dancing around, you're not going to have that with the wrestler.
Mentality of not giving up, of not giving points, or of not backing down. And when you implement this type of mindset into a jiu-jitsu player, you get a Tynan, you know, and that's what makes him so good. And one of the things that makes him so good. Related to that, we all compete in UWW competition, the United World Wrestling, but they have a grappling section. Their grappling section, I believe, will be Olympic one day because that's their main goal, to get this Olympic. We did one recently, the European Championship. It's one of the toughest competition I think you could do in Jiu-Jitsu. The rule set is a bit different. It's more towards wrestling, but it's Jiu-Jitsu in any degree. Because if you pull guard, the other guy gets 2 points. Every time your back is on the mat, the other guy gets 2 points. It's like a sweep. So, and for example, from side to side, if you get side control and I sweep you to side control, it's 2 points for the sweep and 3 points for the side control. So the fight is really dynamic. You can adjust the points. You can come back from a loss real quick, and you don't pull guard. So if you pull guard, you have to pull into a submission or into a sweep. So the action is, you see a lot of action, and pace is really good. And there's a lot of good wrestlers there, but not like pure wrestlers. It's like grappling guys with a wrestling background, which are really tough. And when we go there to compete, it always makes us tougher. Like we go back from that competition tougher because we have to fight for every point, and we don't give any points. For example, in IBJJF, if you try to take the back and the guy turns into you, you get one hook, and the guy turns into you get one advantage, and he don't get anything. But if in this competition, if I try to take the back and the guy turns into me, he gets 2 points because my back is on the mat.
Okay.
So I need to either not give anything or just accept the points and try to submit, which is not a good idea all the time.
Got you. Now, I'm going to make a statement, but I'm going to ask you a question first.
Okay.
Are you a fan of jiu-jitsu? Are you watching Flow Grappling on the Friday nights? Are you watching WNO? Are you watching those competitions? Or sometimes people make the comparison. If I'm an accountant, I don't want to go look at math equations at night. Are you a fan? Mm-hmm. Do you watch?
Yes. I watch jiu-jitsu a lot. But when you ask if I watch the events, I don't watch them live most of the time because they are like 4 a.m. in Israel. Okay. But I do watch the fights because I really believe that watching fights and analyzing fights is one of the best way to learn as an advanced athlete. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I try to do that's why I do a lot of breakdown on my page, because it helps me to learn as well. Because you see some details that you really didn't notice before, and there's a really good way to see like how to get this type of position that you want to learn in a real life match.
You'd be surprised when, I asked that question of many competitors, and a lot of them say, no, I don't want to have anything. I'm not sitting. I might watch my friends. I might be at the event. We're there for our matches. But it's probably like 80-20 where competitors say, no, I just don't like to watch. It's boring to me.
But it makes sense. That makes sense because right now my mind my mind is like an instructor mind. Mm-hmm. I don't think as a competitor I think more as an instructor right now.
Okay.
If I was a competitor, then I might get sick of jiu-jitsu. I get sick of watching jiu-jitsu all the time because you train so much. You train 2-3 times a day. You need a break. You spend like 6 hours, 8 hours on the mat. Bless you.
Thank you.
You spend 6-8 hours on the mat. You might need a break. Watch some Netflix, watch some other stuff. Then jiu-jitsu. Let your instructor, analyze the fight, watch the fight, and learn the jiu-jitsu, and try to help you. Then do it all by yourself.
Yeah. What do you say to? We talked about this on a couple episodes ago. Like the trash talking, the Gordon Ryans of this world. Mm-hmm. As a coach, what would you say to a student who maybe took that path in order to maybe make more money, get noticed, to get better matches? What would you say as his professor or his coach?
I think that when we talk about Gordon Ryan, I think that this type of trash talk, it gets him hype for his own fight. Mm-hmm. It's not. Of course, he do that to get hype around the fight and get more pay-per-view because he fight on a pay-per-view type of matches. But I think one of the reasons he does that as well is because he really, it gets himself hype challenge. He likes the hate around him. He likes to prove other people that he's the king. You know, it's getting motivated. For some other people, for some other athletes, that can hurt their performance. But I saw a lot of athletes that when they push to the, they have this type of ego that I'm not gonna lose. I don't gonna embarrass myself in front of everybody. I'm gonna kill this guy. Yeah. Instead of thinking, oh shit, I just don't want to lose to embarrass myself in front of everybody. Yeah,
I know. Like I've only competed a little bit. I'm older. I started this when I was older. Had a heart attack 5 years ago, so limited. Kind of what I can do. That's a little bit in my mind, but I'm a big guy with a heart issue, and so getting out in there competing, I put it on the back burner for myself. I know that when I did compete, in my mind, I would try. This guy is the guy that I'm going to compete against is trying to hurt my family, and I'm going out there. Like, that's what the space that I put myself into. I know, like Nick and Nate Diaz from the UFC, right? They have to, or MMA fighters, not just from the UFC. They have those brothers. They have to hate you, like what you just said about Gordon. They need to hate you. That's what they do. They want to battle with you online. They want to have to see you in the press conference and hate you and want to tear you apart. And then they have the fight, and it's always hugging and shaking hands afterwards, But that's the mindset that they put themselves into. So exactly. I see the Gordon comparison.
It's the same good example. It's a really good example because it's the same thing, What gets you hype? I know, I don't think that this is wrong. Like, of course, there's some stuff that you shouldn't do, like harassing the guy or like some other stuff. But it's definitely a mental thing. Like, he's trying to hype himself. He takes this hatred to get him hype and get him involved in the fight. Maybe that gets him excited to train hard. I don't like to do it, but it's really individual. Like, when I competed, my focus was only on trying to bring my jiu-jitsu to the fight. Like, I always told myself, like, don't care about anything else. Like, try to do your moves. Like, try to do a show. Like, try to bring your jiu-jitsu, to do something cool, to show that trick that you want to do. And then I put most of my focus on myself, on stuff that I can control, like my effort and my attitude. There's stuff that I cannot control. I cannot control how the guy looks and how big he is or how strong he is, but I can control the way I fight. I can promise myself I'm going to do whatever it takes to win or whatever it takes to fight good. And that's what I did. And then that's what I felt that I'm fighting at my best when I put focus on my jiu-jitsu. You mentioned just the word strong, and it brings me to like weightlifting and weight training. How important do you think that practice is to jiu-jitsu? Okay, I'll tell you my personal experience. My coach, he's very proud that the only thing he does to work out is jiu-jitsu. He's recently started doing these band workouts, so he's changing his mindset a little bit, but he's always joked about Elio never trained. Elio never weight trained. Yeah. What is your opinion? And do you guys, incorporate weight training into your training there on the national team? Definitely. Like, again, when we talk about professional athletes, they have to weight lift. There's no doubt about it. About the amount of times, about the how they train, I think it's a little bit depending on the type of person. But just saying, you want to be good at jiu-jitsu, do only jiu-jitsu, it's a little bit of nonsense, because look at every professional athlete in any sport, even golf players, they weight lift. Yeah. I think it's I think it's definitely an equalizer, right? If you're, maybe a lower belt, or you don't train as much, the weightlifting, the strength equalizes things. And then when you're very evenly matched, that's what could put you over the edge. Exactly. I know for me personally, again, I've been out for a little bit. I always fall back to weight training when I'm out, if I can, if the injury doesn't stop me from weight training. And then I go back and I get oh my God, you're so strong. Oh my God, you're so much stronger. Yeah. What have you been doing? Well, I'm not sitting on my ass. I'm doing something. But I've always gotten away from, when I'm training jiu-jitsu consistently, that I've always gotten away from the weight training. I've made a commitment to myself that I'm not going to do that this time. That weight training is going really well. I feel so good. And a big part of it is I feel like it helps me get over injuries faster or get injured less. Definitely. When you do the right training, of course, like your main goal is do jiu-jitsu, and the weightlifting it's supporting your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right. You're not training to be a bodybuilder. You're training to be good at jiu-jitsu. The weightlifting is supposed to support that. And like you said, if you do the right training, it can prevent injuries, back injuries, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, all of that. Of course, when we work with the younger team, we don't do the same type of training as the older team. Like the adult team, they have their specific goal, their specific training, and the younger team have their specific training. They focus more on pull-ups, push-ups, body weight training, because you want to get their base strong enough to start deadlifting and putting some weight on the same exercises. Yeah. They do work with a specific coach on that. Yeah,
I do like to train. Like I have a couple of different like sleeve setups. I have one called kimono grip, and then I have another one. I think it's jiu-jitsu grips. It's called. It's where I do, instead of like one I can use instead of using the handle on like the pulleys, I replace them with the sleeves, and I'm actually doing like my rows and different exercises, grips, either like a motorcycle grip or just getting my hands and my fingers into the gi. And I do my normal exercises, but I do them with that. So I try to like incorporate that side, which I really love, and it's fun. People always look at me really strange, like, why did this guy bring a towel? What the hell is that that's hanging from there? And it's like people don't usually ask, but I see people looking funny sometimes. But I love the weight training side of things, and I feel like when my best jiu-jitsu comes out of that time when I've been training a lot, but then mixing in the weight training again. And for me, I know that it's helped me heal faster or just get hurt less.
Yeah. So some of the guys, they just don't like to weight lift. They just don't like to lift weights, so they made up like this excuse of like, I want to be good at jiu-jitsu, so I'm just going to do more jiu-jitsu, which is completely fine. But if you want to be a professional athlete, like adult professional athlete, not even an adult, but like a professional athlete as it is, you have to combine weightlifting at some portion. If you want to do jiu-jitsu for fun, you can do just jiu-jitsu. I still recommend to do at least twice a week, any type of like a rehab / prehab, some type of lifting. But yeah, if you want to be a professional, you have to combine some stuff.
What are the things? Go ahead, finish.
Well, I had a good a coach named Coach Myers. I met him through Instagram. He gave me a lot of programs. So he works with a lot of wrestlers. So his programs are really geared toward wrestling conditioning, and because wrestling is really similar to jiu-jitsu in their conditioning and their movements, I felt super strong when I did his programs, because I felt like every aspect of my jiu-jitsu game got better, like my explosive power, my pulling power, my conditioning. His training was structured as this. You had like this main strength portion of the training. You have accessories, and you have the finisher, which you work on your conditioning and your explosive power. And I felt like my conditioning went up the roof. It was really good.
What else do you do? What else do you do for? You mentioned before, like, or maybe you didn't talk. I might have heard you talk about it, like for stretching, yoga, things like that. What else do you incorporate outside of the world of jiu-jitsu into your, a normal training week or day?
What I do?
Tell me some of the things that you do outside of just jiu-jitsu to support your jiu-jitsu, like weight training or yoga, things like that.
Yeah. So I do three times per week. I do weightlifting. Right now, I focus more on body weight training because I just like it more right now. So it's not specifically the best for jiu-jitsu, but it is more like oriented to jiu-jitsu, a lot of pull-ups, push-ups, and body weight exercises. So 3 times per week, I do 2 conditioning training in addition to my jiu-jitsu. So I have one which is more of an assault bike type of training, and another one which is like more stationary type of training, like doing station after station for overall conditioning. And yoga, every week. We have a yoga instructor in our gym. We do it once a week. for mobility and for breathing as well, for like a meditation type.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested to go back to, you mentioned the organization. Was it the UWW or UUW?
Yeah.
Oh, which one?
UWW.
UWW. And you talked about like they're trying to get that, is it that version of jiu-jitsu into the Olympics?
Yes. Yes.
Now, is it just the points that sets out, the way the points is structured, that sets it apart from what like an IBJJF would be? Is that the only difference?
Like yes and no. They have the rules are a bit different. So like I said, they have this type of whenever your back is on the mat or is on the back, you get 2 points. For example, they don't have a guard. Like it's not really, but like they don't consider a guard. So when you pass to side control, it's not the guard press that give you the 3 points. It's the side control that give you the 3 points. Mount is still 4 points. Back is still 4 points. You can rip the leg, but there's no heel hooks. So you can attack normal foot locks, toe holds, knee bars with ripping the legs. If you push the guy outside the mat, so if you like do a single leg and you end up outside the mat, you get 1 point. There's no advantages. Okay. The point is they try to get the fight going. They try to get the fight where there's no stalling. So, for example, if I try to stall, like put you down to close guard, and I'm not doing anything, you're gonna get points. I'm gonna get warning, but penalties, but you're gonna get points. So I get a penalty, you get 1 point. I get another penalty, you get another 1 point. If I get 4 penalties, I get disqualified. But that way, if I took you down or if you pull guard and I got the 2 points for that, if I don't try to pass your guard, you're gonna get 2 points really quickly again, like another point and another point. And then, it's an even match. So you always see a lot of actions in this type of competitions.
Do you feel like that has a better chance of making it into the Olympics versus an IBJJF style of jiu-jitsu where there could be so much stalling and guard pulling?
Yeah, I don't think the IBJJF wants to be Olympic.
Well, I mean, but that style, that rule set, let's call it, right? That rule set, does that sure. It sounds like what you talked about is way more exciting because really you eliminate the guard pulling almost immediately unless somebody's willing to take the risk of pulling guard to implement their game, know that they're gonna lose 2 points or their competitor is gonna be awarded 2 points, right?
And again, you can pull guard, but you have to chase the points or submit, which is hard in a 5-minute match. If it's pretty even, if you pull guard on me and I'm winning by 2 points, and you need to chase back after the points, so you open your game a lot.
Yeah.
And when you open the game for your attacks, you expose yourself to different attacks.
Okay.
But yeah, like they have a good organization with high level events. The events are always like in a high level places with good production, and they try to go to the Olympics through the wrestling, not through the judo.
Okay.
But JJF also is the other organization that we compete in. They are also trying to be Olympic. I believe that one of them will be Olympic. One of them is supported by the Abu Dhabi. So I don't know.
Okay.
Might be.
I mean, will we hear it as a jiu-jitsu, the sport of jiu-jitsu? Will it be called that, or would it be called something else?
So UWW will call it grappling.
Okay.
They're not going to call it jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Like in the JJF, they will call it. They might call it Nawaza, like from the judo, because it comes from the judo.
Mm-hmm.
But it's jiu-jitsu. The JJF is same rules as IBJJF, just in a 6-minute match, not in a 10 minutes match.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually do towards the end of our episodes, we usually do kind of a speed round of questions. So I got some questions here. I'm going to throw them at you. You feel free to elaborate, but we're just going to kind of ask some of these general questions and see where we go. Okay.
Let's go.
So preference, gi or no gi?
Gi.
Okay. Your preference, takedown or pull guard?
Takedown.
You're a takedown guy?
Yeah.
Favorite submission?
Favorite submission? Wrist lock.
Okay. I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite competitor to watch?
Right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Right now, Tynan. Tynan Dalpa, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ultimate goal in your jiu-jitsu journey, in this world of jiu-jitsu, what ultimately do you want to accomplish?
To be the Israeli John Danaher.
That is a great goal.
Nice.
And no one's ever said that before, so that's perfect. I love it.
I want to bring the psychology side into the jiu-jitsu. So, John Danaher is more of a philosophy guy.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, I want to bring the psychology part.
It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same.
I was explaining to my wife, I was watching, I just had, like when I'm working at home, I'll just have some YouTube videos running, just like it'll be jiu-jitsu interviews or whatever. Danaher came up, she came home from work, and she was staring at the TV. And I was just like, that is the best coach that there ever has been in jiu-jitsu coaches there's ever been, period. And she's just like, it goes over her head because she's not interested in jiu-jitsu, but he's amazing. So to aspire to be even half of what he is or has accomplished, you'd be amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And that whole, the philosophy side, I mean, you're coming from kind of similar, right? His philosophy background has really fed the way that he trains, from what I understand, from the outside looking in. That philosophy background has really led to the way he coaches and the way like he studies jiu-jitsu and other martial arts and brings little things in. I think that what you're doing, again, with the psychology background is very similar, because a lot of people aren't teaching that.
Exactly. And we really try to implement it more and more in the national team. And we really saw it now in the UWW competition. I talk about it in one of my posts that I posted about this competition. We told the team that their goal is to push pace, and we told them to focus on their move, not on the other guy's move. Trying to get them tired, not to worry about getting tired. Trying to change their mindset a little bit about going for this fight. And I remember telling one of these guys, like one of the guys told me, Tomer, this guy's a really good, he's a really good wrestler. And I told them, okay, and you think that Tynan, before going into a fight, think about the other guy's guard? No, he said, okay, he has a good lasso guard. Okay, let's see, pull lasso, let's see what happens. I told him, so go out there and take the guy down. Take the guy down with your jiu-jitsu. Let's see. And that's what he did. He just, he did like a counter and took his back and choked him in the final.
I think, I tell a lot of people, like, that the person standing across from you, and whatever it is, whether it's sports, it's jiu-jitsu, or just in your life, that person, he's just human. He bleeds just like you. Yes, he maybe have a reputation or, be in your mind better. He is just a man. He can, like, everybody loses, right? Everybody loses a match. You go to a jiu-jitsu tournament, and you can have 200, 300, 500 competitors. Half of those people are going to lose, right? Even if they podium second, third, right? One person got the first place medal, and everybody else went home without, right? So I know it's easier for me from the outside looking in, because I don't compete, not right now. It's easy to say that to somebody. I know that it's hard to implement, but if they're hearing it all the time, and that's where the mindset comes in, and that part of what you're talking about, doing it every day, talking about it constantly.
Exactly.
You can't just go up to a match and be like, okay, your coach just tells you, think positive, kid. That's not going to work at the edge of that mat at 5 seconds before you're going to step out on that mat.
That's one of the biggest mistakes for trying to work on your mental side of things, is you try to implement it on the day of the competition. Yeah. You train your mindset. Like, like you said at the beginning, it's like a lot of the guys say, it's 80% mindset. Okay. So why you don't train 80% of your training is mindset training? Because we really focus on, because especially with the sport, is mostly guys. It's like, you have to be physical, you have to train hard and all that, but you have to put some time on training your mindset. And we do it every week with the national team. We talk about the mindset. We tell them how to study their matches and how to correct their mindset mistakes from their matches, like trying to remind themselves what they were thinking during the match and before the match. And if it helps them, and if it didn't help them, then eliminate this type of thoughts and implement some good thoughts. And they do that through training. We finish every training, every competition training with a circle, and we bring two guys in the middle, doing like a simulation of a competition. And it's not about like who's winning and who's losing and like, he's better than you. No, it's about getting this emotion, this stress, seeing the ref, seeing the guys, and dealing with this type of anxiety. And I talk with the guys afterwards, and I tell them, okay, you didn't fight like you used to fight. What happened? Did you think about the other guys? Did you think about you are getting tired? Did you let other stuff from your daily routine interrupt you, like you think about your work or whatever. The scholarship, like we talk about it, can hurt them because they focus solely on getting the scholarship, on winning just to get the scholarship, that they don't fight good. So right now I came back from a European for the juveniles in the JJF, and I told them, don't think about the scholarship. You don't care about the scholarship. Like, you don't do jiu-jitsu to win the scholarship. You do jiu-jitsu to be a world champion. It's just a part of the one step of the way. Don't think about the scholarship. And it didn't hurt their performance that way. They fought really good in the European.
When you're talking about mindset with your students, does meditation play anywhere in that mindset?
I don't really like to do I like meditation, but I don't think
I kind of equate like mindset and visualization.
What about breathing?
Those two things
visualization
are
is
similar.
really good. Visualization I highly recommend doing. Being at the moment, mindfulness. It's not so good for martial arts, in my opinion, because mindfulness is being at the moment. So there's some stuff that are really good, like focusing in the present. But because you're a martial artist, being in the present, meaning feeling pain, because you still fight. So there's some stuff that you don't want to feel. So I use a lot of visualization.
What about breath work?
Visualization, I tell them, okay, try to embrace this feeling and feel how, and like understand if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, and how to manipulate this feeling to get you excited about competing and not stressful about competing.
I know you see a lot of MMA fighters do it more and more now, where you'll see them, maybe on social media, you'll see a post of them walking out to the cage, walking around the cage, like doing their entry so that it becomes second nature. Yeah. So it's not the very first time they do it. When they are actually walking out, your mind is taking in all these new things. Well, let's make it the second or third time that your mind is thinking that way.
Yeah. Our athletes do this every training. Like, if you look at the jiu-jitsu players right now, at the black belts, usually at the black belts, you see that every type of world champion has its own trigger. Okay, like one of the best example right now is Fabricio Andre. If you know him, the guy that lift the leg, kick on the floor.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's not like a gimmick. That's a pre-match routine. That's the best example for a pre-match routine. He get himself in the zone. The moment he kicks, he knows he's in the zone. Like,
that's
okay, now I'm good.
That's the switch for him.
The switch. That's flipping the switch. For me, it was like slapping really hard on my face, like really hard. I was like, pa, and go into the mat. For him, it's kicking the mat. If you look at Tynan, he do this type of like monkey walk before we go into the match. Lucas Lepri was hopping before going into the ref. So they all have this like flip switching before they compete. And I promise you, they do that in training as well, because that's how you get yourself into that groove.
So, okay, our next question. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself before the very first time you stepped on the competition mats, we'll say competition because you've been, you were doing martial arts in the military. What would you tell yourself?
Learn heel hook sooner. Be that
Learn it now.
guy who do heel hooks. I remember GSP was visiting Israel a few years ago. A few years ago. I think it was 2017, 2016. And he came to our gym to train a little bit. Like he asked if he can do if he can train, get a mat time. And we ended up doing a small private with him, which was like one of the best experiences in my life. And one of the things, he showed us the Danar system for the back control, like the hand pommeling and all that to get the choke. Back then, there was no instructionals, no anything about it. So we were like mind blowing when we saw that. And he ended up the training. He told us, there's one guy, a brown belt. Not a lot of people know him back then, but when he's gonna be a black belt, he's gonna destroy everybody. He's gonna be the best jiu-jitsu player. And he told us it was Gordon Ryan, some guy named Gordon Ryan. So I wish I knew heel hooks sooner than I could bring it to
when did you start? I know here in like the U.S., the old school gyms, until recently it was like really besides like just straight ankle locks and maybe some knee bars here and there, you weren't really touching anything below the waist. And again, ankle lock, you weren't really touching anything below the waist until you were at brown belt. What was that experience for you? Was it different there? Is it you kind of younger than I? So
we actually do a lot of footlocks in our academy, even before the heel hooks or whatever. My coach is a footlock guy, so he always attacked the foot, and because the JJF, even if you are you compete under 18 or under 21, it's like open levels. Like even if you're a purple belt, when you compete at the JJF, it's called like a professional. So you can do knee bars, toe hold, and all that, except from heel hooks. So we train leg locks. Even if you're a blue belt, you do all the type of leg locks in our gym. And I think it helped us a lot because our game is focused on attacking the submission and use the submission to get the sweep, the back, and the opposite. We attack the sweep to get the submission and back and forth. So the foot locks are, I think it's a really good tool to improve your jiu-jitsu, not as a only as a submission. Looking
back specifically your jiu-jitsu journey, do you have any regrets? Is there anything that you wish you could have changed?
Wow, that's a good question. Oh, it's really easy to look back and say, I wish I could do this and this and this. But I think no. I think we made the best of what we had back then, and we brought the jiu-jitsu into a point where now the new generation is it has a really good chance of being an IBTJF world champion black belt.
Okay.
So I'm happy that we could use the knowledge from back then and adapt it to bring the future generation to what they are now.
Okay. And our last question, I always call it the most important. Do you or do you not wash your jiu-jitsu belt?
No.
No.
Honestly.
We call that a powers in the belt guy.
Yeah. But I have 3 black belts that I use. So I always rotate between them,
Okay. They're never going to see the washer,
though? But I have that one black belt is like decaying slowly. So I like that. I don't want to wash it.
All right.
It has blood from training, so it's like a mark.
Is it that traditional, like I've got the power is truly in my belt, I've got the blood of my competitors on my belt, or
something
is it
like
just
that. Yeah, something like that. I never competed with that black belt because it's heavy.
Okay.
So it's just for training, Yeah.
Like heavy, you mean like you literally when you have to weigh into it's heavy, exactly. It's adding to the weight, right?
I always get the
because they weigh you with the gi, right? For those that don't know that, they're weighing you in with the gi.
You wear with the gi and with the belt, so I always get the lighter belt.
You need every ounce.
And only for the podium, I was bringing my OG black belt just for the picture.
All right, Professor. Look, we're gonna leave it there. Don't hang up because we're gonna come take a picture by the screen with you. But I very much appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. This was great, very informative. If you're ever here in the U.S., if you're ever in South Florida, we're actually set up to have guests come in the studio as well. Obviously, cool. You're in Israel. So if you're ever going to make your way to South Florida, let me know. Give us a little advance notice, and we'll, we could do this in the studio. We'll get our crew. We usually have a couple of hosts, and we'll sit around and talk some more about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, cool.
All right?
Sounds great.
All right. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you again. Don't hang up, though.
Thank you to Neutral Zone CBD, a combat family-owned company that supports athletes and the people who love them. Neutral Zone strives to deliver clean CBD products for sports recovery in gummies, lotions, balms, roll-ons, and more. After a competition, a hard rolling session, or a tough day on the job, Neutral Zone has a product designed to help you reduce inflammation, increase cell rejuvenation, and may even help with aging joints. Visit NeutralZoneCBD.com and get 25% off your order with code JJD. And follow them on Instagram, too, at MyNeutralZone. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. All of us here at the Jiu Jitsu Dummies would like to thank the entire crew over at Flow and Roll for their tremendous support. They're renowned for their incredible t-shirt designs, and they've got something for everyone. Flow and Roll quickly rose up to become the premier custom apparel provider for academies, big or small, throughout the United States. Shoot them an email about your custom order, flowandroll@gmail.com, and they'll be more than happy to get you hooked up. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll for samples of their gi and no-gi kits. They conveniently offer flexible payment options, too. Head over to flowandroll.com for more details, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu Jitsu Dummies signature tee, now exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your online purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD. Special thanks to George Hernandez, Claims Adjuster. Have you experienced damage in your residential or commercial property in the states of Florida or Texas from flood or fire, storms, theft and vandalism, even sinkholes, just to name a few? Don't get stressed out dealing with your insurance provider. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals get you the most compensation possible. Visit HernandezClaims.com or call 305-712-6751 to get help now. And stay in touch with them on Instagram at HernandezClaims.
All right, everybody, that was awesome. Pretty cool guy, right?
Yeah, dude.
You do not want to run into a guy like that in a dark alley.
I told you, man.
I mean, he's a nice guy. You don't want to meet the bad version of him.
You don't get on his bad side.
Yeah, you don't want to run into the bad version.
It's really cool because he was talking about philosophy and psychology, and I had said kind of like, oh, it's the same thing. It's not that I meant that it's the same thing. It's philosophy is like the sword of psychology. It tames the psychology.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the down at her side.
Yeah, so it's like the down. Well, because that's why he mentioned him and looks at him because, the two of them would be great because you're putting together psychology, philosophy, and jiu-jitsu. So you're putting body, mind, and theory or conceptualization.
Yeah.
That's what broadens the mind, and broadens the experience. So
I think we're going to see
definitely become a better fighter as you widen your mind.
I think we'll see a lot more.
Didn't Rashad say that?
Oh, you're gonna let me?
I'm sorry. But
once again, I'm going to remind you on air. I'm going to remind you. I apologize that the middle of my sentence is interrupting the beginning of yours.
Totally relevant. It is.
You got to remember when you're talking over each other, we get nothing done.
Rashad mentioned, how mushrooms change your perspective about, the whole trip experience changed perspectives on fighting, not just life, but Yeah. So it's very interesting. Okay.
All right. Let's do a little housekeeping here, guys. Shout out to our Patreon podcast patrons, including gym sponsors Carlson Gracie Winter Haven and Winter Haven, Florida. CGWinterhaven.com at Carlson Gracie _Winter Haven on Instagram. Carlson Gracie Broward County in North Lauderdale. That's Big J and his crew. That's the Black Zillions crew, right?
Yep.
Carlson Gracie BrowardCounty.com at Carlson Gracie Broward County. John Way Martial Arts in Plantation, Florida. That's johnwaymartialarts.com at John Way Martial Arts on Instagram. We have a new sponsor this month, Matt Murphy. Thank you for joining us, Matt, and thank you for the support. BOA Athletics, BOA Athletics. Check them out on IG at BOA_athletics. Jason Smiley, CJ Carroll, who's always asked us to also shout out Mission 22. So, Mission 22. Chuck Reddoor, Roberto Santiago. Now, I've let them all know we're closing the Patreon program for something better, for a better way of doing shout outs, get more gym sponsors. We love bringing exposure and shining the light on cool companies, people doing really good things. So we're just going to change it up a little bit. So this is the last month. We'll try to do something special for these guys, give them some coupon codes or something like that as we exit and do our last giveaway. But we're going to have something cooler. Plus, we're doing so many giveaways on Instagram. We have a giveaway going for the BJJ box right now. So we're giving away, or BJJ box is giving away 2 VIP boxes. Neutral Zone is going to do something right after that. We'll talk to MANSCAPED about doing something, but there's nothing on the schedule just yet. But even our own sponsors are going to be doing stuff away as we grow and our sponsors are doing more. There's a lot of cool things that we can do, and we're going to try to incorporate some of those Patreon patrons as well. All right.
Cool.
So I'm at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram. I also monitor and manage the at Jiu Jitsu, the podcast handle at Jiu Jitsu Dummies. Miguel, you got anything? No? All right. Bo, you want to give me your handle?
At BADWERKS.
I just heard that. No. You're doing the mini Miguel in the seat. At JJD _DJJ69, because I like to make things difficult and funny in my mind. But he's going to hate me when he sees that.
Remember, DM him with your ideas for his handle.
We're trying to get Miguel to change his IG handle to something more related to the show.
So DM him with an idea.
I know in some way, shape, or form this is going to come back to bite me in the ass. It's his handle. It's his Instagram. I said, you should make it something a little bit more related to the show.
BJJ.
It's gonna bite me in the ass. I know it, but he's doing it. And he's going to give away, like, he was talking about giving away a whole bunch of stuff to the winner, right? To the winning name that he changes
he's
to.
Talking shit.
All right, so listen to the last episode, and at the end of the episode, he talks about what he's going to give away. He was like a rash guard, this, that, keychain, blah, 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 everything that we have on the store. So,
go broke.
Listen, thank you, everybody, for all the support. Listen, please support our sponsors, Manscaped, Neutral Zone, BJJ Box. We can't do this without them. Your support is incredible. So I'm going to drop this in here for the first time before we let everybody go. So what we're trying to figure out is how we're going to do. I think we just talked it out before we came on again. Is you show me proof that you have purchased one of our sponsors' products. Can't just do pictures because they could have owned things before, right?
Like
we're going to say send a copy of your receipt.
A redacted receipt.
Redacted receipt. We don't need to see all of your information. Show me your name or, show me what you ordered. Make sure I don't see a credit card. We don't want your credit card. Just give me like an order ID or something, like a snapshot of your receipt. And we're going to put you into a raffle, maybe like every 4 or 5 episodes. And we'll do a raffle and we'll give away some products. Especially, we got the new rash guard coming. So at very least, like a T-shirt and a mug.
Yeah.
But maybe the rash guard once it gets printed.
Man, it's always cool to win something.
It's always cool to win something. So if you support our sponsors, we're going to give back to you guys as well. So
yeah, exactly. It's for a good cause, so we can keep eating.
Yeah, good cause. Us.
Us.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu, baby. Us.
Moose.